Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the channel. Today, I'm reporting from a very cold, snowy day. The river is also getting frozen, and we have a presence of a beautiful silence all around us, the forest, maybe the sound of a few crows who are trying to do their early morning rituals. And I would like to use this opportunity and discuss the beautiful topic of the ego and to see a very simple fact about the ego, which is usually very overlooked by people in general everyday life. The ego is behaving or suggesting that it is separate from nature, and the sign of this claim, how you come to know that the ego is claiming this, is from the fact that the ego claims to be the actor, the doer of actions. Okay? Now, when something accepts itself to be part of a flow, to be part of the flow of nature, for example, then that entity cannot claim the status of an actor, because nature is free in itself and it doesn't require any actor. The river is flowing by itself, the sun is doing its job by itself, and there are laws of nature which are governing everything, and everything follows that. So, in a sense, when you accept that you are part of the flow of nature, then you cannot claim to be an actor of an action. Because then, just like everything else is happening by the flow of nature, you and your actions are also happening by the flow of nature. So, this can be the sign, the easiest sign which shows that the ego believes itself to be something separate from the nature. Okay? My hands are not claiming that they are doing some kind of action. The nose is not claiming that it's breathing. The eyes don't claim that they are seeing. But the ego claims everything, that it is doing this, it is doing that. So, in that very claim, the ego gives us the indication, the hint, that it believes itself to be separate from the flow of nature. Now, the ego itself is totally dependent on the brain. Like the movement of the ego, the presence or the existence of ego depends totally on the brain, depends totally on the memories of the brain, because it depends what kind of conditioning, what kind of memory you have in your brain, and in the similar kind, you will have your own ego. A person born in Europe will have a different kind of ego as compared to a person born in the Middle East. So, it's very easy to say that the ego itself depends on the brain. The ego itself depends for its very existence on the matter of the brain, the neurons, the neural activity. And all that activity is also governed by the laws of nature, whether it be electromagnetism, there are electrical signals in the brain moving. So the ego is the final product of all of that. And for some reason, the ego believes that it is separate from the huge and immense flow of nature which is present around us. Now, that very reason of separativeness, that very separation, is the central cause of sorrow. Because the ego believes that it's separate from the flow of nature, it is always in a fight with nature. It is always trying to win over nature, which is why we can see how badly we treat the planet itself. Even though we clearly know that we only have one planet, and yet we treat it so badly. And somewhere the reason is that the ego is not accepting the fact that it is part of nature. So the moment you accept the fact that you are the part of nature, that you are part of the flow of nature, then you cannot claim to be the actor of any action. Then all actions are happening just like any other natural action. There is a causation, and the causation could be due to the natural laws. This could be due to the interaction between different factors of nature. And due to that causation, due to those interactions, actions happen naturally. But as long as the ego claims that it is separate or it is the actor, to say I am the actor and to say I am separate are the same thing, okay? But somehow the ego doesn't recognize it. And as we just discussed, that the sign of this separativeness is to claim that I am the actor. I am the one who is acting on nature, okay? And this belief, and the reason I'm using the word belief, because there is no scientific evidence that we are separate from nature. The most evidence proves that we are part of nature. We are part of the total flow and the ecosystem of nature. But still, the ego believes itself to be separate. So the ego first separates itself from nature, then it separates itself from people of its own species, and then we divide nationalities, then we have cultural identities, then we have social identities, and on and on and on and on and on. So the whole point of breaking yourself, the whole point of division, is the essence of arrogance in a way. Okay? Arrogance in the sense that I refuse to accept that I am part of nature. I refuse to accept that I am part of this immense flow which is going all around me. Because the moment I accept it, I have to also accept that if all the flow is happening by itself, if a river can flow by itself, then why I need to have someone, why I need to be the actor? Then I am also part of that immense flow which is happening by itself. And this is something which the ego cannot accept very easily, because the ego believes or perceives itself to be the actor, that I did it, I know it, I did it. So how can you say I haven't done it? So this funny part happens, and if you are not aware of this interaction, if you're not aware of this claim of the ego, then you might find it very difficult to accept the fact that this separation from nature is a very big mistake in life. Eventually, we have to see the fact, and I think scientifically it's getting proven every day more and more, that we are also humanity is also acting in the same way as the wind is blowing. There is a flow of nature, there is the flow of the laws of nature, and according to those laws, everything is just moving. So, to claim to be the great actor, to claim greatness of your action, is kind of like childish in a way. So, can we observe this? How do we observe this? If we observe from a partial point of view, from a specific central point of view, that I'm this and I'm observing this, or if I just listen to it theoretically and I understand it theoretically, both these ways are going to end up with very little improvement. Okay, improvement in the sense of your way of living. To actually let it affect you completely, strongly, you have to observe your whole existence. As your existence is acting, you have to observe the fact that the actions are happening according to a flow. The chain of causation is moving all action. All your daily action is affected by the chain of causation. Even the claim you make in your brain that I did it is also the part of the chain of causation. Now, can you completely observe it? Okay? Or, in a way, to put it in a different way, is like, can you observe your whole existence, how you exist during the day? And as you will observe it, you would see that the action has happened because there was a cause for that action to happen. Okay? And that very observation would melt or would uh, wash away this strong belief of being an actor. Okay? That when you would see that someone calls my name and I turn and I say, because I chose, that's why I turned. But when I see the whole day that there are causes which are making me act, which are making me react, then the perception of that is actually the beginning of the ending of the belief of being an actor. And if you do it long enough, if you do it with a honesty, with a hunger for it, then there comes a time where it becomes absolutely clear that it's just a flow which is going on, and you are part of that flow. So there is no need for an extra actor to do something. The flow itself is more than capable of handling everything. So you just have to watch it. And that's where the trouble will come. You can watch it theoretically, you can watch it partially, you can watch it for 5 minutes in a day, sit in a position and this. And that's a way, but I don't think that would do a lot of benefit to you. Or you can watch it properly with a steady eye on yourself. And I think that could take you much further, especially from the point of meditation. That is a way intelligent action than this partial action. So understand that the ego is not something supernatural. It is not something super soul, inner voice, that voice. It's all part of the ego. And the ego arises from the brain. And the brain is the end result of evolution. So all that evolution is contained in your brain. And with all that information, all that research that the brain has done over evolution, it creates conscious experience of this ego. And then the ego starts believing that it's separate, that it's a separate entity from nature, and as if it's acting separately. So I hope this had made a little bit like a wake-up call for you, and whoever is watching will definitely give it a try. As usual, if there are some questions, then please send me, and I hope your winter is also going nice, or if it's summer where you are living, then your summer is going nice. And I would continue to enjoy this morning with the snow, with this river, and some crows and the naked trees. So I will see you soon next time. Thank you.